everyone, good afternoon. Cooking with Sue here today. I am making some cornbread for our group that we're having tonight at my friend's house. She's making a yummy chili, so I offered to do cornbread. And I just figured, hey, I'll go Facebook Live for those of you who have never made cornbread fresh. It's super simple. So I am using Better Home's cookbook. I've had it since I've been married, so 26 years. And I really like their cornbread recipe. So their cornbread recipe is a cup of cornmeal, and I use the yellow cornmeal, but you can use white as well. And it's a cup of flour. So I want to tell you a little bit of something about baking. I am clearly not the key person for baking, but I've learned some things over the years. I keep joking. I've learned more and more every year. First of all, when you have flour, you're supposed to sift flour when you're baking, but I don't do that. So what I do is I fluff my flour. So I turn it upside down and rights it up. Can you tell I need a new bucket? I've had this bucket for 30 years. So I fluff my flour. So when I do that, then I measure out my 1 cup. So you want it to be light and fluffy because you get an accurate measurement. Now, once you've fluffed it some, you want to take a knife or some other utensil and you're going to scrape off the excess part so that you get exactly 1 cup. And that's important too. Like when you're baking certain ingredients, the measurements really, really matter. When you're cooking, not so much. It's a pinch of this, a pinch of that. But when you're baking, the rising elements like your baking powder and your baking soda, those all are super important. Next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you check your use-by date on your baking flour and your baking soda, because again, you probably don't know, but you want to make sure that it's still active, because bad baking powder, you're going to have a flat muffin. And again, I shake my baking powder and I fluff my baking soda as well, because you don't want it to be all packed down. So this recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of baking powder. So you are putting all your dry ingredients together, and our Pampered Chef measuring spoons, they slide from 1 teaspoon to a tablespoon and 1/8 of a teaspoon all the way up to 1 teaspoon. So I love these. You can pull apart, stick them in the dishwasher. So they come in 2 different sizes. I use these a lot. The other type of measuring spoons, let me grab one, that you might like are the individual ones. So if you have young kids that you're teaching to cook, you'll notice that they're flat at the bottom. And that's so that when you sit it on the counter, you can measure out the ingredients and it'll sit, and then the kids can dump it in and make it feel like they're actually helping you. So these all snap together as well, and you might like individual ones. I like to just know that I have all the measurements I need in one hand. I just slide it up and down. So I don't like the individual ones as much, but a lot of people do. Another thing that I use these for all the time is my favorite squash. This is a side note. This is a bonus. This is my favorite squash. This is called a buttercup squash, not a butternut, but a buttercup squash. And so I have my husband take the chef's knife and cut it in half, and we have a scoop loop and we have a cornmore. But before all of those things, before I was seeding it, I used to seed them with this. I would just dig out all my seeds from this. Now, the fastest way to cook this, by the way, stick it upside down on a plate, put a lot of water on the plate, put it in the microwave for 15 minutes per half. It comes out super moist, and I just eat that as a snack. So that's just a side note. So we've already put our baking powder in here. You're going to do a little bit of salt. So it's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. For those of you who don't know, you should be using Himalayan pink sea salt. So I just put this is like an Old Spice container. I buy it in bulk. And you should use the Himalayan pink sea salt because it has electrolytes in it. And for those of you that don't know, electrolytes are good if you get the flu. You don't get dehydrated because electrolytes are what's in Gatorade. So super important to use sea salt. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to mix all of the dry ingredients together. We need to add sugar. So it says 2 to 4 tablespoons of sugar. So 4 tablespoons is a 1/4 cup. I have my 1/4 cup out here somewhere. 1 minute. This is how Cooking with Sue goes, you're hanging out with Sue. So I like the 4 tablespoons because I like my cornbread a little bit on the sweeter side. If you are trying to cut calories and all that, you can just do 2. Again, the recipe says 2 to 4. And then you're just going to mix this all up together. And then we're going to add our oil, and we're going to add our milk, and we're going to add our shortening. And so you do the eggs as well separately. And you want to beat your eggs a little bit. When you're doing corn muffins, you don't want to overmix them. You just want it so that the baking powder activates and it fluffs up a little bit. But if you overmix it, they're going to get dense. They're going to drop down. Now, I'm going to do mine in my mini muffin pan because I love this pan, and everybody's going to get an individual little corn muffin when we're done. I'm probably going to do a double batch because you can't have enough cornbread with chili, right? And so I'm going to mist my cornbread, my muffin pan, with our oil mister. So if you don't own one of these, you absolutely need to. There's a line right here. You fill it up. This is grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is great for high temperature. You can use olive oil, canola oil, whatever you want. But grapeseed and olive oil are what I normally use. Grapeseed for any of my stir frying and heavy high temperature cooking, and my olive oil for my salads or my low temperature cooking. You don't want your oils to burn onto your pans because that leaves that that yellow filmy look onto your pans, whether they're the nonstick or stainless steel. You just don't want to use the high temperature stuff unless you're using grapeseed, because that can go at a high temperature without burning. So you pump this until it gets hard. You want to pump your own air in. You don't want to use Pam spray on our cookware or our stoneware because it creates a gummy, filmy buildup that you cannot get off. So what you're going to do is once you pump it, you're just going to spray each little well just like you were spraying Pam spray, but this is just straight oil. And it's really easy to use, and it's good for your health because you know you don't have any of those bad chemicals that's bad for the environment. And then here's the key. When you're done, you have to burp it. Listen. Did you hear the little psst? So that's how you burp it. You burp it. Now, eventually, you're going to need to take this apart and put this in the dishwasher and strain it out. Probably once a month, once every 6 weeks, something like that, to keep it fresh. Dump your oil and do it again, but it works great. So I'm going to mix up the eggs first, and then I'm going to go ahead and mix it with this. So tip for all of you, so funny, you definitely want to make sure that you crack your eggs into a separate container. So those of you who have seen me do Pampered Chef shows before may have heard my funny stories, but I one time cracked my eggs right into my chocolate lava cake, and I ended up with an eggshell in the in the cake that I didn't know about. And the poor woman that ended up getting the eggshell in her mouth, she got a door prize, to say the least. But I was horrified, and I could hear her in the other room going, and I was like, is she okay? Is she okay? And come to find out, it was because she was had an eggshell. I was like, oh lordy, you know, you too could be a Pampered Chef consultant and still not know what you're doing, right? I've gotten much better. So here's my tip to you to save you all from, you know, choking your guests, is crack it into another container so you can see if there's any shells in there. If there are shells, and by the way, Denise, these are your eggs. Thank you. They're nice. If you guys look at these yolks. This is like fresh chickens. And they were great. These are the last two, so I may need some more. If you get an eggshell stuck in your bowl, eggshell attracts eggshell. So if you take the eggshell and you put it in and you put it right near the piece that's in there, it'll pull it right towards it and you'll pull it out. If you use a finger, it runs away from your finger. So if you're ever trying to, you know, put your finger in and try to get an eggshell out, it won't work. So eggshell attracts eggshell. So just do a quick stir on your egg. You want to just break the yolk up and make sure it's mixed a little bit before you're going to add it to your corn muffins. And then you're going to add your milk, which is 1 cup of milk. So 2 eggs, 1 cup of milk, and a 1/4 cup of shortening. And a 1/4 cup, I must have my 1/4 cup in the dishwasher because it's not out here at the moment. Or maybe I used it for something else I was cooking with. But 4 tablespoons is a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to add this in. So I've already mixed my dry ingredients, and that's important because you want your leavening agent, whether it's baking powder or baking soda, to disperse amongst all of the flour and the sugar that you have in there, so that it works through it and it'll help it rise up better. And now I'm going to go get my milk. And I do almond milk for everything, and that works great for cooking, so you don't have to worry. Uh-oh. Where's my almond milk? Here we go. Hang on there, guys. Hope you're having a nice lunch break. All right, so I use the reduced sugar almond milk. This happens to have a little bit of a vanilla flavor, but that's just going to cook right off and you're not even going to notice it. And we're just going to stick it in here together. And then you might use a scraper or a whisk. I prefer a scraper personally. These are the white silicone scrapers. I call them my space age plastic because they're molded with the handle, so when you're yelling at your kids, knock it off, Mom said to stop biting, it's not going to go flying off your hand. You'll notice I'm using our fabulous stainless steel mixing bowl. So you stick your finger through the bottom and wrap your hands around. This is actually a 16 cup capacity. So this is double the size of our glass batter bowl. So for those of you out there that own our glass batter bowl, that's an 8 cup. So you can make a double batch of Rice Krispie treats in here. Well, maybe that's what I'll make for dessert, the peanut butter Rice Krispie treats from Taste of Home. So you're just gonna mix this up a couple stirs just until it's basically blended. And then we're going to use a cookie scoop. Yeah, see? Nice, just nicely blended. And then we're going to use our cookie scoop to put them in here. Now, if I were making this just for my husband, he prefers creamed corn in it and some jalapeno cheese. But I don't have any creamed corn because I can't stand creamed corn. So, you know, when you cook, you get to decide what goes in the food. Every once in a while, I cook something that he just likes that I don't like. So this morning, he had salmon on his egg sandwich. I had bacon and spinach on my egg muffin, but he put smoked salmon on it. He's like, you want some? I'm like, yeah, no. I don't think I'm a fish person. I'm determined. So then we're just going to use our cookie scoops. So these come in 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. Small is a teaspoon. So if the recipe tells you that you're going to get 12 dozen cookies out of this recipe or 3 dozen cookies, if you take this and you actually scrape it along the edge of your bowl like that, you would get exactly 3 dozen cookies from it. So no joke, exactly what the recipe says. The second size scoop is medium size. So the first size we call a peanut butter cookie size. My husband can cram an entire peanut butter cookie in his mouth in one bite. I cannot. Even though I have a big mouth and I talk a lot, I cannot fit it in my mouth. But he can. The medium size scoop is perfect for making ice cream sandwiches. You can get the perfect top and bottom of an ice cream sandwich. And I use that a lot, the medium size. And then the large scoop is perfect for meatballs or for the cookies that you would use to do for a bake sale, you know, the bigger ones. So decide what size your family uses most, use all 3. What's nice about this is as you're putting it into your things, you know, you're not getting all the spills that you normally have to get and wipe off. And then we're just going to cook this at 425 for, well, this says 20 to 22 minutes if I'm doing a 9x9 pan, so I'm probably going to do it 13 to 17 minutes based on that time frame, and I'll let you know how long to do it for, and then I'll show you a picture. So I don't know what I'm cooking later today. Maybe I'll do that peanut butter Rice Krispie treat and I'll put that recipe on as well. So while I'm on, I want to ask you all that are watching one quick favor. Make a comment below. Facebook is changing the way we do things, and if people don't comment on my Facebook posts, then I disappear. I go into the abyss. Nobody sees me. So say hi, just so I know that you were here and you saw me, okay? So that would be great. I would love to hear from you guys. The current specials in April is pick anything you want in the catalog for 60% off. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. You want cookware, stoneware, you want rock crocks, knives, anything you want, 60% off. That can be a catalog show, Facebook show, virtual party, bridal shower. You want me to come and cook? I'm doing a really great recipe this month. It's chicken with asparagus and mushrooms and tomatoes, and we're putting it over some yummy rice. So have me come to your house. Hey Sylvia, I hope the move went well. I saw you guys in the car heading to go do God's work. I'm so excited for you guys. So thank you guys. Have a happy lunch. It's noon. I hope you guys are eating something yummy today. I'm gonna have a salad with Jamaican jerk chicken that I grilled with my double burner grill pan yesterday. So I hope to see you guys on. Make sure you comment below, say hi so that I don't fall off the Facebook into the abyss and nobody sees me anymore. And I'll tell you more about my oil dipping sauce later.